So welcome to the Knowledge Bites webinar series. This is session number 9. My name is Sarah Lang. I am the Southern Vermont Economy Project Manager at BDCC, and today we have Emily Blistein. She's from the Marlboro College Center for New Leadership, and she will be talking about easing pain points for growing organizations. So the goal of these Knowledge Bite webinar sessions are to provide high-level introduction to programs, resources, and tools that either work on or support economic and workforce development. At the end of each of these sessions, information is provided on where people can go to get more in-depth assistance to these resources. So the structure of these are 30 minutes total. 20 minutes are presentation, 10 minutes of question and answer. For question and answer, I have everyone muted. So if you just have a question, go ahead and type those questions into the chat function, and then Emily will answer them at the end of her presentation. And all of these are recorded and then archived on this website you see down here, and you can see all past webinar sessions as well as this one later this afternoon. So if there's someone that missed it and you think they would like to see it, please direct them to that. So without further ado, I'm going to get Emily on here and she will take it away. Just give us one moment here. Emily, are you able to switch screens? There we go. Can you hear me now, Emily? Hold on one second. Emily?
Sarah, can you hear me now?
Yes, okay.
That's so strange.
That was weird. All right, go for it.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect, okay. So hi everybody. So I will just start with a little overview. My name is Emily Blistein. I'm the Director of Innovation and Impact for Marlboro College's Center for New Leadership. And I wanted to give you a quick overview of who we are and what we do. So we're a network of staff, trainers, and consultants, and we work with mission-driven organizations, individuals, and coalitions. And what we're really trying to do is improve both your personal and your organization's leadership capacity. So we run workshops, trainings, and then we do individualized consulting. We have a network of consultants who we work with, and we match them with organizations when they come to us. So our goal is really to meet you either individually or organizationally at whatever crossroads you're at, and then help you determine how to get to where you want to be. So today, since there could be a lot of different organizations listening, I really wanted to give you a few tools to help you assess where you're at, and then identify sort of 5 of the most common things that we hear when people get in touch with us and feel like they need help. And then I wanted you to have a few quick immediate resources that you could walk away with if there was one particular area that I talked about that you wanted to dive into right away. And also to give you a contact, which is me, if you need more sort of personalized attention for your organization or want resources for yourself. So just to give you a little overview of my process for this, I reached out to our consultants, and the consultants, we have about 10 to 12 consultants that we work with currently, and they created a response to us to answer what kind of questions people tend to present with. So what questions are people asking when they come to them? So I looked through those questions and tried to call the ones that seemed most common for folks who are reaching out to us. And then I reached back out to them and said, what is, one tool, one book, one podcast, one webinar, anything that you would want to tell people to go to before they actually work with you. So they gave me some great feedback. So that's where we're going today. So before we started diving into the individual areas, I wanted to give a few little overviews, just sort of an organizational life structure. We teach a longer 10-week course on nonprofit management, and one of the sessions is really about the organization's life cycle. And this is a chart that David Grant, who does that presentation, uses. And I think a lot of nonprofits, no matter where they're at, find it helpful just to see the fact that there is this arc, that there are these sort of startup phases and growth, and then an organization comes to maturity, and that can be the case for different parts of their organization at different times. So this is just sort of a check-in to say wherever you're at is part of that normal cycle, and we just want to check in with that. Here's another organizational development stages chart that I found helpful, just to sort of say, oftentimes so many of our organizations start from this volunteer-based idea and then they become more institutionalized, but that's a process. So really the folks that are coming to us are coming to us because they've hit a crossroads or a glitch on that process. So I'll launch into the sort of 5 big areas now, and for each slide I've really tried to rephrase or use specifically the phrases that people come to us with when they have a problem. So the first one is around results-based accountability, and a lot of times what we hear there is folks saying, how do we measure what matters? How do we show that we're making an impact? How do we really tell the story that we want to tell about our organization to donors or to our community? And so we have done at Marlboro, especially at the Center for New Leadership, a lot of work around results-based accountability. And it's really a way to think and plan and help your organization evaluate its work so that you can answer these 3 fundamental questions. And those are, how much are we doing, how well are we doing it, and is anyone better off? So that's just a little snapshot for that. And the resources, if you're interested in going deeper into that, Mark Friedman's book is sort of the standard RBA starting place. Our consultant, Hillary Orsini, says that she recommends folks read the first 4 chapters before even working one-on-one. And then the work that we did through Marlboro is on this website here, BBVT, and we have a ton of other resources there that you can find. So the second big area, and this is a huge one, is around building a strong board or helping your board develop, helping grow leadership on your board. So we hear all kinds of things around our board isn't functioning, our board isn't engaged, our board is having conflict, we have no turnover or too much turnover, our board isn't comfortable asking for money. So the board issues can be many, and this is obviously a fundamental piece of most nonprofit organizations, and so strong boards really need clarity in their roles so that they can help to guide the organization, to advocate for it, to fundraise. And we are lucky. We have a really fantastic consultant, Andy Robinson, who's done an amazing amount of work on board development and board leadership and fundraising. And so his book is listed here as a good starting point. And then there's a few other resources over here as well that are just some web links that you can start diving into this work. So the third area, which is Obviously, an issue in all areas of life and work is just conflict management, but also how you communicate and how you can have a really great team. So things we hear around that are there's so much tension in the office, morale is low, there's so much turnover, no one trusts each other, nobody's open to change, or a specific person isn't open to change. And as I said before, there's conflict in every organization, but we do a lot of work around helping groups, individuals, and organizations getting unstuck so that they can improve morale and work together for their clients. And we work with a few consultants who do some conflict management work, but in particular, our consultant, Greg Hessel, suggested the book Difficult Conversations, which is great for life and work. And then Jody Clark, another one of our consultants, suggested a hyperlinked article here that is about listening. And then also this work around the 5 dysfunctions of a team. This is a book, but it's also a YouTube video. So it's another another way you can start there. So the fourth, am I counting correctly? I think I've miscounted somewhere along the line. Yeah, I missed one. Strong word. Oh, I did. I missed messaging and communication. We'll have to hop back. Well, I'll do that now because I'm on it. So messaging and communication is another big one for folks. So I think that one of the common issues, especially in a lot of nonprofit organizations, is that there's a lot of understanding internally about what's done, but oftentimes it's really hard to tell that story to your board and your community. And strong messaging is really important. It obviously can raise community awareness, but it also enhances your ability to get new donors. And the one interesting area here is that oftentimes, even though some of your staff feel like they know what they're doing, oftentimes there's conflict about who we really are serving, what is our real goal. And so sometimes we think of messaging and communication as being external, but oftentimes it's internal as well. So I reached out to our consultant, Joe Heslin, who's down in the Brattleboro area, about really not just resources, but how he talks to folks when they come to him. And so I pulled out a bunch of things from what he said, but really I think that it's helpful no matter where you're at to start with these 5 questions on the right. And you can start by answering them yourself, sit down and ask really, what do we do? Who is it for? Where do we do it? How do we accomplish it? And why is it important? And if you feel like your team is in a good place and those issues around conflict are not too bad, this is also a great exercise to start doing with a group. So with your board, with other staff members, to start that conversation so you can start hearing how you see the work that you're doing internally and also how you think you could help get that messaging out there. So now jumping down to my 5th slide. So this is really about leadership development, which is a bunch of work that we do with a bunch of our consultants. And so this tends to be more of an internal issue at first, people asking, how do I strengthen my own leadership skills? But then we do a lot of work, a couple of our consultants, with really shared leadership models for bringing organizations to the next level. So really encouraging everybody to take some leadership and to increase the collaboration and authenticity. And so it's pretty wonderful work, and there's obviously a gazillion resources out there now about leadership, but Amanda Silver, one of our consultants, had recommended this book about what makes a great leader, or what makes a leader. And Lori, who is another one of our consultants, her organization does a ton of work around shared leadership. This is her website, which has a ton of resources, but also when I talked to her, she said, one of the most important things is for folks to really ask if they're open to learning and growing, and whether or not they have the capacity to be reflective, because those are such important foundation. It's such an important foundation for doing that work with yourself and then bringing that work to your organization. So those are sort of the 5 really big topic areas that we tend to work more one-on-one or consultant to organization. And then the other work that we do at the Center for New Leadership are more bite-sized pieces. So we do some workshops. I mentioned the certificate in nonprofit management there, and that tends to be employees who are moving their way up within an organization, or maybe an executive director who jumped into that role and needs some time to reflect and gain some skills. So the nonprofit management is a 10-week course, and it really is a solid overview of 10 major areas for nonprofit management. We just launched a new training, facilitation, and consulting certificate. So that's for folks who do that work and really want to level up their careers there. I was there last week, and it was a phenomenal group and some phenomenal trainers. So I'm excited to report more about how that goes. The women's leadership circles are really for women who are already established in their careers, and it's for women in the nonprofit field, in the business community, and in government. It's intentionally cross-sector like that, and they focus on specific communities. So right now, we're looking for women in the Waterbury and Stowe area because we really want to create a cohort of women who can continue to support each other after the circle has officially stopped forming. Align, on the other hand, is for emerging leaders who know that they want to do work in the mission-driven sector. And then we do a summer camp every year, which is sort of smaller bite-sized workshops for anybody. So we encourage anybody to be a part of that as well. And then we do these other workshops. We do some 4-part RBA workshops if you or your organization wants to dig more into that work, some train the trainer, board leadership. And that is sort of the big scope of what we do and where we can meet you if you find yourself at a place where you either personally want to move forward or you want to help your organization move forward. So I will leave you with that, and this is all of my contact information. Red Clover is our newsletter, and Red Clover is a really great way to stay informed on all of our programs and just get some great content about leadership. And then we're also on social media where you can sort of get a little sneak peek into our programs as well. So that is all from me, and I'll open it up.
Great. Thanks so much, Emily. Meg, since it looks like you are the only one on currently, what kind of questions do you have for Emily and the types of programs that they run? And go ahead and use the chat function there to type in your questions. Not to put you on the spot or anything. While Meg is thinking, Emily, I'll ask, what are sort of the sizes of organizations that you work with? Does it tend to span all sizes, or, you know?
Yeah, it really does. And, you know, sometimes as nonprofits in Vermont tend to be a little bit smaller, there's certainly that, you know, 2 to 3 to 5 person staff size, but also some of the larger organizations. A lot of the results-based accountability work that we've done with some government organizations, some government teams. So the Health and Human Services, I believe, has done a bunch of work with that. Oh, and I'm just seeing Meg's question.
Great.
That's great, Meg. Thank you. So Meg's saying that there are some organizations she wants to pass it along to, and yes, I think that a lot of folks at the volunteer stage, you know, what we've found is that especially for something like our nonprofit management certificate, it's really, in addition to gaining information, it also is a chance to really have that day a week for 10 weeks that you can reflect on your work. And if there's one thing, you know, we see incredibly commonly, no matter what the presenting problem is that organizations come to us with, oftentimes it's that we don't have the time to stop and be reflective and be thoughtful about how we move forward. So it's great to have the resources at your fingertips.
And since the Southern Vermont Economy Project is across both Bennington and Windham regions, are there similar organizations to the Center for New Leadership in Bennington County? Do you guys cross borders?
Yeah, we work statewide. So I'm actually located physically in Middlebury, and our consultants are located all throughout the state in Vermont, and we do some work slightly outside as well, New Hampshire and Massachusetts, obviously, for the proximity. So we do have because the work that we're doing is a little bit unique, and we are meeting a lot of different needs, we do have folks coming to us from all over, and our consultants are all over.
Great. All right. Well, I will take the screen back from you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. And so just a heads up, we have sort of out of order, we have a special presentation on November 7th. That'll be given by Laura Sibilia on the SEDS project submissions. This is specific to the Wyndham region, hence sort of off schedule and with the asterisks. And then sort of back on schedule, we'll have Fred Kenny on to talk about the Vermont Employment Growth Incentive Program, or VEGI. So that's for businesses contemplating investment in new payroll, capital, by starting new business, expanding business, or relocating or expanding businesses into Vermont. Again, we are always looking for suggestions. So if there's a program or resource that you want to learn more about, please contact me, and I will be able to reach out to that person and see if they would be willing to come on. So thanks everyone for joining, and until next time, everyone have a great day.
Thanks so much.